Seeing the owner looking unwell, the dog started licking his face. This odd behavior caught the attention of the pet house staff, who advised Pedro to see a doctor, since a dog's sense of smell is far sharper than a human's, allowing them to pick up on abnormal body odors. Taking their advice, Pedro went to the hospital, but the test results shattered him with tragic news. The root cause of his recurring headaches was a tumor right behind his ear. Pedro's lips trembled. He stuttered and struggled to piece together a single full sentence. He had just achieved his dream and had such a bright future ahead, so why did this have to happen to him? That day, he walked back into the kitchen completely lost in despair, not even noticing as the food burned on the stove. He couldn't bring himself to tell his boss about the diagnosis, terrified of losing the head chef position he had worked so hard to gain. Instead, he asked for a 2-week leave under the pretext of researching new recipes. But what scared him even more was facing his mother. Looking at one anxious voicemail after another on his phone, he trembled at the thought of how crushed she would be if she found out. He typed and erased message after message in the chat box, never finding the courage to send the truth. Afterward, Pedro brought the dog home, picking up a huge bag of pet supplies along the way. He named him Cramino and officially welcomed him into the family. The next morning, Pedro asked his neighbor to keep an eye on Mino before heading to the hospital alone to begin treatment. But watching the patients and their families walking by, their faces heavy with overwhelming grief, the fear inside Pedro only deepened. After all, who can face mortality with total calm? Just then, a patient sitting nearby struck up a conversation, asking if Pedro was dealing with testicular cancer like he was. Even though Leo was fighting a terminal illness himself, a warm smile never left his face. He told Pedro that being sick doesn't mean giving up the right to be happy, nor should a diagnosis trap anyone in the dark shadow of waiting to die. They weren't any different from anyone else. They could still joke around, laugh, and find joy in the little things. Seeing Pedro still looking downcast, Leo handed him a flip book. Leo's positive, upbeat attitude was like a ray of light, breaking through the darkness in Pedro's heart. His anxiety gradually started to fade, but when he got back home, the scene waiting for him left him stunned. The apartment he had just painstakingly cleaned was a complete disaster area again. The neighbor told him that Mino was an absolute menace and had even torn her beloved Bible into shreds, declaring she never wanted to set eyes on the dog again. Deep down, Pedro knew Mino had only done it because he was worried sick about him, but with his declining health, managing such a high-energy little guy was becoming too much to handle. So early the next morning, Pedro went back to the pet house and enrolled Mino in doggy day school, hoping he'd have other dogs to play with while he was away. Drop a comment with part 3 to find out what happens next.